All right, living environment fanatics. It's Tuesday, and we're here to do some classification, man. And then, just a reminder that the test, our big test, is coming up Thursday. That's the day after tomorrow. That's right. So I hope you've been looking back at your notes and studying to get ready for that test. And yeah, and then it's only what are we talking about? Like 6 weeks to the Regents exam. Whoa. All right, let's do today's Bellringer, and we'll talk about classification. All right. Hey now. Mr. Kovacs class. It's Mr. Kovacs class. You might learn a ton. It's Mr. Kovacs class.
It's interesting too.
It's Mr. Kovacs class.
And he's super cool.
It's Mr. Kovacs class. So I introduced you yesterday to Carolus Linnaeus, otherwise known as Carl von Linné, right? And he was the guy that came up with this idea of giving every organism on Earth a two-part scientific name. We call that his idea binomial nomenclature. Binomial nomenclature. And his idea was that the two-part name would be descriptive. The first part would be the genus or the general name, right? Kind of the generic name. And then the next one would be specific, or the species name, genus species, right? So we talked yesterday that he called all the cats Felis, as in Latin for cat. And then the species, well, that's how you differentiate it between like Felis tigris, the tiger cat, or Felis sylvestris, the cat out in the woods, or Felis domesticus, the cat in the house, those kinds of things, right? That's what he came up with. All right. Now, since Linnaeus' time, things have changed. Sometimes the names have changed and the relationships have changed, especially as we get more information genetically, right? And we get DNA information that links species together. Their classifications change. And so taxonomists like Linnaeus have developed an even more intricate system of giving everything on Earth every living organism, some kind of genetic nomenclature that has 9 levels instead of just 2. Did I say 9 levels? I think I meant 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 levels. Oops. Only 8 levels. Wow, I just saved you a whole level. The most general, of course, is called the domain. And that's followed by the kingdom, the phylum, the class, the order, the family, and then the genus and species name. All right, so we just use the last 2, the genus species, as the scientific name, but all organisms are classified into different domains, kingdoms, phylums, classes, orders, families as well. Okay, the most general group is the domain. All right, and right now we have 3 domains. Right, so all organisms fit into one of 3 domains, either the bacteria, the archaea, or the eukarya. You and I fit into the eukaryotic one because we have nucleuses in our cells, which means we have more in common with an oak tree than with a strep throat, because we have nucleuses in our cells. We are nucleated. We are eukaryotic. Right, but all of these organisms that are eukaryotic, they're very different. So we do another level of classification. Next level is the kingdom level, and we're in the kingdom of animals, right? We have more in common with other animals than we do with oak trees, right? Like in the kingdom of animals, we have more in common with a jellyfish than we do with an oak tree, because we are animals, and there are rules about what an animal is. They have to be eukaryotic consumers, multicellular, right? That's to be an animal. And then there are lots of different animals. We are in the phylum of chordates. Chordates mean the animals that have backbones. All right, so we have more in common with a fish than with a jellyfish, because fishes have backbones and nervous systems with a spinal cord, whereas jellyfish do not. Of all of the chordates, we're in the class of mammals, which means we have more in common with other mammals like dolphins than we do with fishes, right? Mammals are kind of hairy and breathe air and give birth to live young and are warm-blooded and that kind of thing, with a few exceptions here and there. But one of the things all mammals do is nurse their young with milk hence the term mammal, like mammary gland, right? And there are lots of mammals. We're in the group of mammals, the order of mammals we call primates. And primates are those mammals that have a specific body plan and can most often also do this. Right? Not all animals can do that, but the primates all can. They can do it on their hands, and they can do it on their feet too. Well, some of them. You and I can't really do that on our feet, but anyway, the primates. So you and I have more in common with lemurs than we do with non-primate mammals, than we do with dolphins. You know what I mean? Of the primates, we are in a family of hominids. Hominids are the great apes. Think of them as the great apes. So you have more in common with the other great apes than we do with lemurs, right? Hominids are basically primates with no tails, and they're larger size and that kind of thing. And there are 4 genuses or genera of hominid. There's our genus, the Homo, and then we also have the Pans, the Pongos, and the gorillas, right? And then the final step is species. We are in the species of sapiens, genus Homos. We always put these two together, Homo sapiens, right? Our hominid relatives include Pan paniscus, which you'd call the bonobo, Pan troglodytes, which you'd call the chimpanzee, Pongo pygmaeus, you'd call the pygmy orangutan, and Pongo albeyi, which you call the orangutan, and then of course gorilla, which you call the gorilla. Hominids, right? So we have a genetic address, right? We're in the domain of eukaryotic organisms, eukarya, the kingdom of animals, the phylum of chordates, the order of mammals, the class of mammals, the order of primates, the family of hominids, genus Homo, species sapiens. Domain, kingdom, phylum, class, order, family, genus, species. Domain, kingdom, phylum, class, order, family, genus, species. Right? And then we're all one kind of thing, one species. Right? Our closest living relatives are the Pans. We have the most genes in common with the chimps and bonobos. Right? They're our closest living relatives. They live closest to us genetically. We're the only members of our kind of thing. Right? But there used to be other homos. Homo floresiensis, Homo habilis, Neanderthalis, Homo erectus, Homo habilis, right? Other things that were like us, but they were different species. And remember, the definition of species is there's a reproductive barrier between us, okay? All these other homos have gone extinct. Homo sapiens is the only one left on the planet. And if things hold true, either we'll go extinct or we'll split into multiple species, because that's what happens. That's what always happens. That's what Darwin says. All right, so that's a little bit about classification, or the science of taxonomy, naming organisms, grouping them, organizing. It's all kind of arbitrary because it's just people doing that to get a sense of the world, to try to figure out what goes with what and what doesn't go with what and what's related to who. But it gives you a picture of an evolutionary picture anyway of descent with modification. And so it matches Darwin's ideas. All right? Hey, test is on Thursday.